Imagine waking up one morning to find that the beautiful trees you planted and cherished for years had been chopped down without your permission, all because your neighbor thought her view mattered more than your property rights. That's exactly what happened in today's story, and it spirals into a shocking turn of events that ends with a massive payout and one furious Karen learning the hardest lesson of her life. It all began in a quiet neighborhood where a man named Ryan had lived for over a decade. His house wasn't the biggest, but it had one feature he loved above all else: a row of mature oak trees lining his yard. These weren't just ordinary trees. Ryan and his late father had planted them years ago, and they had grown into towering reminders of their bond. Their shade cooled the home in summer, and their rustling leaves gave the backyard a calm, almost magical atmosphere. For Ryan, they were priceless. But as it often goes with entitled neighbors, someone else had a very different opinion. Enter Karen. She was the newly elected HOA president and Ryan's next-door neighbor. From day one, she was loud, bossy, and full of unsolicited opinions. She complained about Ryan's truck, his lawn, even the color of his mailbox. But her biggest issue was the trees. Her house had an elevated deck, and she loved hosting friends while bragging about her scenic view of the hills. Except there was one problem. Ryan's oaks blocked part of that view. At first, she made casual remarks like, "Wouldn't it be nicer if you trimmed those back? The whole street would look brighter." Ryan always replied politely, explaining their sentimental value. Karen didn't care. To her, they were just obstacles to her perfect view. Soon, she brought up the trees at HOA meetings. She insisted they were unsightly and a hazard, even though they were perfectly healthy and regularly maintained. Neighbors rolled their eyes, recognizing Karen's power-hungry attitude, but she wouldn't let it go. Ryan refused to back down. His trees were on his property, and he wasn't about to let anyone bully him into destroying them. But Karen wasn't the type to accept no. One Saturday morning, Ryan woke up to the roar of chainsaws. His heart dropped as he rushed outside to see a landscaping crew hacking down his beloved oaks. Branches fell to the ground while the workers moved quickly, clearly paid to remove them entirely. Ryan shouted at them to stop. The workers hesitated and pointed at Karen, who stood smugly on her deck sipping coffee, watching as if it were her personal show. Ryan was livid. He called the police immediately, and when they arrived, Karen boldly claimed she was within her rights as HOA president. She argued the trees obstructed the neighborhood's view and lowered property values. The officers quickly explained the HOA had zero authority over private property, especially healthy trees. Karen's smug grin disappeared as Ryan stood devastated, staring at the stumps where his father's oaks once stood. But Ryan wasn't going to let this slide. He filed a lawsuit against Karen personally and against the HOA for allowing her reckless behavior. The case dragged on for months, but when it finally went to court, the judge didn't hold back. Ryan presented photos, professional assessments proving the trees were healthy, and neighbors testified that Karen had orchestrated everything. Karen tried to argue she was protecting the neighborhood, but the judge saw through her lies instantly. In the end, the court awarded Ryan a staggering $500,000 in damages. The payout covered the value of the destroyed trees, emotional damages, legal fees, and even the impact on his property's aesthetics. Karen was ordered to pay personally, and the HOA was forced to contribute because they failed to stop her. For Karen, it was crushing. Not only did she lose financially, but she was also voted out as HOA president in disgrace. But here's where the story takes a perfect twist. A few months later, Karen's financial situation collapsed under the weight of the judgment. Unable to keep up with her mortgage and payments to Ryan, she was forced to put her house up for sale. And guess who was waiting for that moment? That's right, Ryan. With part of the very money Karen had been forced to pay him, Ryan bought her house outright. Suddenly, the woman who destroyed his beloved trees in a selfish bid for a better view was gone, while Ryan became not only her former neighbor, but also the landlord of the property she once lorded over. The poetic justice was almost too perfect. Ryan rented Karen S. old home to a kind young couple who loved the peaceful neighborhood and never once complained about the trees. In fact, they helped Ryan plant new saplings that would one day grow as tall as his originals. For Ryan, it wasn't just about money. It was about restoring what had been taken from him and watching karma deliver the ultimate payback. The neighborhood soon flourished under new HOA leadership, with meetings that focused on genuine community improvements instead of one person's obsession with control. As for Karen, she became a cautionary tale among residents. Her arrogance and entitlement had cost her everything, while Ryan came out stronger, wealthier, and with a story so unbelievable it sounded like a movie. But that's the thing about entitled people. They often underestimate just how badly their schemes can backfire when they mess with the wrong person. So the next time someone decides their view, their opinion, or their desires matter more than your rights, just remember Ryan's story. Stand your ground, document everything, and let the law and karma handle the rest. Sometimes the sweetest revenge is letting the universe balance itself out, and in this case, it balanced things to the tune of $500,000 and a poetic twist of fate that left an entitled Karen without a home and Ryan sitting comfortably as both victor and landlord. And that wraps up today's story. If you enjoyed watching Karen's downfall and Ryan's well-deserved victory, make sure to smash that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to KH. Stories for more unbelievable tales of karma, justice, and entitled people getting exactly what they deserve.